Today's Homeowner with Danny Lipford. Real projects for real homeowners with real solutions. Information and inspiration on improving your home from professional remodeler Danny Lipford.
Well, I'm glad you're with us this week. You know, it seems like all homeowners are looking for ways inexpensively to add living space to their home. Well, the answer may be by enclosing an existing area you have around your home that's already under roof. That's exactly what the homeowners are doing here in taking an old carport and storage area and converting it into a very nice game room, home office, and bathroom. We'll show you this project from start to finish and look at another project where we've completely enclosed a breezeway to create a very attractive room. And we'll talk with an architect who will share with us some of his ideas on some of the things you need to consider. Now, everybody thinks that adding living space to your home is very expensive. We'll show you that's not true. Welcome back to the show. Now, it may look like a bit of a mess out on the job today, but that's because there's a lot of things taking place. We have several carpenters and plumbers running around taking care of a number of things. Plus, we have all of our drywall in place, ready for our drywall contractor in a couple days. Tomorrow, the electrician will be here, so we have the recessed housings that a number of those will go in this game room area. After that, the insulation contractor can insulate the space, and we can move right along. But after all of these pieces are put together, let me show you what the whole entire project will look like. Now, first of all, here's the game room, about 22 by 24. We have a doorway with a little covered area leading out onto the driveway. Over here, we have two double French doors leading out into the new covered porch. Over here, utility room, home office, and the bathroom. Now, before any of the work really got started, first thing we did was to remove all of the bricks off of the back of the house. We cleaned the bricks, stacked them so that they could be used later. After that, we started forming up all of the concrete slabs, both on the inside as well as the outside. Now, here was just a cap slab that we poured over the existing carport slab. It's about 6 inches thick. Out here was two patio slabs, the larger one here, and then the little area going down in this direction. But out in here is where we really had a challenge as far as the framing, because of the large beam necessary to support the roof was very heavy and required a number of carpenters to lift it up into place. Now, talking about the roof itself, it's a fairly low-pitched roof that was so low-pitched we couldn't put shingles on it to match the house. Instead, we used a modified bitumen roof, which will take care of the rain since it has a lower pitch. Now, most of the work that's taking place here is under the existing roof, but you can see a lot of design and a lot of thought went into exactly how to lay out the individual rooms. Now, earlier this week, we talked with an architect who was able to give us some good ideas on how to approach this. Many architects that specialize in residential design find that they like their offices near their homes. That's the case with Pete Vallis, who has his office right in his backyard. Well, Pete, I know you're a busy guy. I appreciate you spending some time with us here.
It's always a pleasure.
All right. Now, you probably are seeing the same things I'm seeing with homeowners and home designs, that things have really changed over the last 50 years in how houses are designed and the things that people want.
You're exactly right, Danny. And in fact, a project that I recently worked on illustrates that point. This is an existing floor plan of the house, and this is the remodeled plan. You can see the fireplace here in both of them. And what we took was a very small kitchen that had a wall into a family room and then some built-ins with a playroom. You can see the hatched marks. Those are the walls we removed. In the remodeled plan, we've opened it all up. We created a focal point here in the kitchen with this fireplace, building the kitchen around that with the breakfast room to one side and the family room to the other, and that's all inside the existing walls.
That's certainly going to make it look a lot bigger than it was here because of all the little compartments have been removed.
And that's the way we seem to live today. We like to live in that kitchen family area on the backs of our house.
Now, you mentioned the fireplace there kind of being the focal point. That's probably one of the starting points on any design, whether you have a fireplace or some other dominant element in the house.
When I look at a project like this, I try to create an axis or a focal point, and that's the easiest one, a fireplace. If you don't have a fireplace, you might have a major window that you're overlooking, or you might know there's a pretty view outside that wall and you're just not using it, so you might put in a large window and create your own focal point.
Okay, now a homeowner comes to you, what do they really need to bring? Who are the best homeowners to work with?
I find that the best clients are the ones that bring me the most information. If they have some idea of what they're trying to accomplish, in this case it was a larger kitchen family area, if they have some notion of a budget, even if they bring all those clippings from magazines of the looks that they like.
I see. Okay, well I'll tell you, I'm sure this project really turned out well, and I also noticed that you've taken a screen portrait that was original here and actually created a playroom to increase the square footage there as well.
And that was all existing. All we had to do was remove the screen, wall it in, and had a playroom.
Welcome back. Now this is another project where we've recently added living area to this existing home under an existing roof. Now this area used to be a breezeway that connected the house with the garage. Now in years past, someone attempted to close this area in, but they did a very poor job and it just didn't function well as legitimate living area, and it wasn't particularly attractive. In order to remedy the situation, there were a number of problems we had to address. The walls that had been constructed were sheathed in plywood outside and thin sheet paneling inside with no insulation between. Now that combined with the old drafty, unfunctional sliding doors made this space impossible to heat or cool. Now once we tore into the walls, we also discovered termites had eaten most of the beam that supported the roof over the breezeway. To add insult to injury, the walls were not square to the garage or house, and you could really tell it in the V-groove ceiling up above. Now obviously we had to deal with those issues, but we also wanted to improve the curb appeal of this home because it had a fairly plain front on the home and it really needed a focal point. Well now, as Pete mentioned earlier, our architect, how a window can really add that focal point to the inside of a room, it can also do the same for the outside of a room, especially if it's a bay window. Now, the overhang on the existing house was not sufficient for us to build the entire bay window under the overhang, so we had to construct this small hip-style roof. But really, that little bit of work was kind of a blessing in disguise because it really added some character to an otherwise very bland roof line. It also made a big difference on the inside of the home. Now in the rear of the house, the new area opens out onto this deck, which is perfect because homeowner Suzanne Vollmer plans on using this as a sunroom. Looks great.
Turned out wonderful. Want to check it out?
Sure. Now Suzanne, I just love the black and white colors. That always looks good in a room like this.
Thank you.
Now let's see, scored concrete floor, that's a good touch. And since I was here last, you've installed all of this bar area, which I thought would take up a lot of room, but it really kind of blends in real nice.
I think it works out wonderful. We just got it done about 2 weeks ago.
That's great, granite countertop and everything. And when we first started talking about enclosing this area, you were really adamant about, I gotta have a bay window, so it worked out pretty well.
It did. I wanted to get rid of these sliding glass doors, and I also wanted to make the room look bigger, and I think it's worked out extremely well. Now I do have a table that's coming, so I have a little table that's gonna...
Right here. Now it makes a big difference on the outside as far as the facade, but also it's only about 8 or 10 square feet here, but the impact it has on this 110 square foot area is pretty significant.
I think it looks a whole lot bigger than it did.
Now, location of this in proximity to the kitchen being over there and then your outside area there is kind of perfect for a little entertainment area.
Oh yes, football season. So have the TV up there, and I think it's going to work out really well. The bar over there, so.
That's perfect. Now, also, it's comfortable in here. It's fairly hot outside today, but it's real comfortable in here, whereas before you could never heat and cool this place.
No, but then you had a great idea, and we added a new vent up there.
Right.
So that worked out really well, and then, of course, the ceiling fan. So.
And then, of course, all of the insulation that was done kind of added to that. So, well, I know you'll get a lot of use out of this room. Now it's really hard to tell that this was an old carport. The original carport was open all the way through to the backyard and had a small storage area on the back side. Now that the wall has been constructed, all the bricks are up, and design-wise, I think it's a great idea to have a door coming out onto the driveway, and particularly the little roof covering kind of breaks up the wall. Now, if you have a situation similar to this, you can also accomplish the same thing by installing several windows. But one of the things we're going to do that we strongly suggest is to remove any asphalt or concrete that shows the old driveway used to come up into this area. We'll be taking all of this out as well as the other side. Then the landscapers can continue all of the flower beds, plants all the way down the side. That'll really disguise the fact that it was an old carport. Now, there's a few things inside we did to also make it look like original construction. Now, one of the first things we did on this project is to remove all of the bricks that were originally on the back wall of the house. By removing the bricks, not only gave us a number of bricks that we could reuse on the new wall, but also gave us 5 or 6 extra inches here to be added to the game room. Now, another thing we did to make sure no one could tell what was old and what was new is to have our slab contractor, our concrete finisher, finish out the concrete to where it's the same level as the original house. That way, when our new floor goes in, it'll all tie in nice and smooth. Now, this is a real important aspect of any time you're adding on to an area like this, because most carport or garage slabs do not have a moisture barrier or a layer of plastic under the slab. So later on, moisture could be a problem. By adding the extra slab, not only are we able to level everything off, we're able to add that moisture barrier to prevent that from being a problem. Now, an idea the homeowners had, which I thought was great, since they would be using the room to allow their 2 toddlers to play a bit, is to put in a split door like this. That way they can keep the lower door closed so that the kids will stay here in the room and they can still keep an eye on them from the kitchen. So that works out great. Now, on this side, the other side of the original carport, we've installed 2 double doors, full glass, they're all wood. This will allow natural light to come in, also 2 different points of entry into the house, and once all of the locks are installed, also plenty of security. Now, this leads right out onto a covered walkway and porch area that has a real nice stained bead board on the ceiling. Then the rest of the wood was all painted white to give it a nice contrast. Really looks good. Now, this area will be completely open. The columns you see here are being used in another part of the house. Now, the painters are on the job now doing all of their priming and painting to get ready for the floor covering that'll go down in just a few days. Now, the rest of the area has been utilized very well, and the storage area that originally was on the back side of the carport now has become a bathroom over on this side. And our shower door installers are in the process of installing a glass door enclosure around the corner shower stall, which is really a great way to utilize the space in a bathroom. Then we have a little, what we call a buffer hallway, that if you turn left, you go right into the small office. Has been designed by the man of the house so that he can come out a little bit of a retreat and take care of all of that bill paying. Also, nice glass window in that room leads plenty of natural light. Later on, a custom cabinet will be installed to serve as the desk. Over on this side, the laundry room has washer and dryer and plenty of additional room. Now, by utilizing all of the space that's available, certainly this has saved a lot of money, made this job a very economical way of adding this amount of living space. After this next segment and our next break, we'll take a look at the finished project. Well, the pieces have all come together to make this renovation complete. The flooring and the furniture really starts to make this place feel like home. Also, the tile floor we used here at the entryway will really save a lot of wear and tear on the playroom carpet. Now, we used the same tile in 2 other areas, including the laundry room and our new bathroom. Now, outside, the back porch is all complete, and on the driveway side, the asphalt has been cut out to disguise the fact that this used to be a carport. Now, that's one of the tricks we mentioned earlier in the show that you may want to keep in mind if you're considering reallocating space under your roof area. But remember, it's your house, so don't be afraid to make the project look like you, feel like you, and function in such a way that it's comfortable to you. I'm Danny Lipford. We'll see you next time.
It's time to pick up a few tricks of the trade from Danny and home repair expert Joe Truini in this week's Simple Solution.
When you're moving a heavy appliance around your home, you really have to be careful. Not only can you hurt yourself, you can hurt the appliance and even your floor if you're not careful.
Well, the easiest way to move an appliance, of course, is with a hand truck. But the problem is often the hand truck will scratch the appliance, and we don't want that to happen. So to prevent that, all I did is I took some pipe insulation, which is made out of the very dense foam rubber, and I cut it to length. Then I cut a slit down the back of it so I could wrap it around the rails of the hand truck on either side. Then I just took 3 pieces of duct tape and adhered it to the hand truck itself.
Now, even though the hand truck has rubber tires, you still need to protect it from running across any of the floors you may have in your home, because it can damage it. So one of the first things we'll do, put cardboard under the dryer, and I've already disconnected the 220 electrical as well as the vent that runs off the back of it. And now, Joe, if you can help me, we'll tilt this back.
There you go.
Now that'll allow me to pull it right out. We'll also put another piece of cardboard down to protect it going out the door. Okay, now you may notice we picked the dryer. That's one of the lighter appliances in the house.
You tip it back a little? Great.
There we go.
All right.
And
just keep
right
a firm
on out
grip
the
on
door.
it and right out the door.
Now let's join Danny at the Home Center to check out this week's best new product.
Now, when you head to the Home Center to select that perfect stain for a project that you may be working on, you may get a little overwhelmed once you get there. There's just so much to choose from when you're talking about stains. But if you're working on a fairly small project and you want to finish it up just in one day, what you need is Minwax water-based wood stain. Now, you can apply this to the project that you're working on, whether it's a front door or a piece of furniture or whatever, and you're ready to put your top coat on in only 3 hours. Now, also, it cleans up with soap and water, so that makes it a lot nicer around the house. Now, the most important thing when you're talking about stain is to apply it very evenly, and that's made a lot easier by using a water-based pre-stain by Minwax. Now, this is a clear liquid that you paint right on over the raw wood, allow it to dry 15 minutes, lightly sand it, then you're ready to go ahead with the staining. This really makes sure that it's nice and even when you apply the stain. Now, furniture makers have been using water-based stains for many, many years because of the variety of colors. Just look at all the different shades that you have available. Now, this will ensure that you'll get the exact color in the stain that you want on the project that you're working on. Cost is about $7 or $8 per quart. And also, it's very low odor, so it's perfect using it around the home because many of the oil-based stains can really have a high odor, so this is perfect in those situations.
Now let's go outside for Around the Yard with Danny and lawn and garden expert Barbara Katz.
To have a nice, healthy yard, you have to make sure your yard gets plenty of water. And many homeowners are a little frustrated with this type of system because you're constantly trying to find the right spot in the yard to get adequate coverage.
And of course, you got to do that every time you come out to water. The other thing you could probably think about doing is going with a comprehensive irrigation system. But, you know, they're very expensive. You can spend thousands of dollars on something like that. And then, in addition, while they're installing it, they often really tear up the yard.
But we have a compromise that actually combines the advantages of this as well as an underground system. And it actually looks a little bit like an underground system in that the casing that I have here, you bury it in the ground, level with the ground, you can mow right over it. But when you're ready to do a little watering, you take this, flip it around, hook it into place, you hook your hose to it, you can adjust your settings on top, and you can get the perfect coverage that you're looking for in watering your yard.
Now, I mean, you still are going to have to drag some hoses around, but they give you one of these quick connects, which make it just that much easier. You pop it into place, and then you can invest in as many of these as you want and put them throughout the yard so that you create different zones. And you are going to save a ton of money with something like this.